Morning. Thought I'd come out for a bit of a walk. Regretting it a little bit because it's like an ice rink at the moment. If I don't end up on my arse by the end of this morning, it'll be a miracle. All the snow's gone, as you can see, or most of it, but it rained overnight and it's been cold, so it's kind of compacted what little snow and ice is around. It's alright walking across a field, but as soon as you get onto a path, it's absolutely treacherous, particularly when you've got stupid Maggie there who keeps getting in front of you and then trying to knock you off your feet. So I'm just being a bit careful. I thought I'd come out, and I had a really busy day on today. I had a med review with work, with the principal medical officer at work, but that was cancelled. So I rung the sick bay and said, you know, can I rearrange to see her? And she went, she's not going to be back in for the foreseeable future, which immediately worries me because, you know, having gone through what I've gone through, my immediate thought is, oh God, I hope she's all right. I hope she's not got cancer, which is a bit dark. But genuinely hope she's all right. So I've got another appointment with somebody else tomorrow. So that's one thing that I didn't need to do. And then I had bereavement counselling this morning, which I kind of sat there and I was like, I think I'm coming to the natural end of bereavement counselling. Not that it's no good, it's just that I have other things in my life that are better, that give me more peace. This being one of them, and going to things like Andy's Man Club and, you know, the Old People's Bereavement Group, which starts again later today. Like, I'm going there this afternoon, so I'm looking forward to that. Just because they're more applicable to me, like people understand. I mean, a counsellor, a counsellor's a counsellor, but he's not lost his wife. Come on, Max. Alright, go through the mud. Do you know what I mean? So, there's only so much you can get from sitting in front of somebody going, yeah, I'm sad. You know, I wish I had Jenny back. And I regret this and I regret that. For somebody to just sit in front of you and go, yeah, well, you know, that's all very normal. So I rung up and cancelled it this morning. Chose to come out for a walk instead. I think it's a bit better for me. And I am every 2 weeks, so I've got a decision to make, really, whether I carry on and go next week, week after. So what was a really busy day, which is, you know, medical appointment, counselling, bereavement group, and then later tonight I'm taking Thomas to his cadets and all that kind of stuff. It's turned into, well, I've got the morning free, so I thought I'd come out for a bit of a wander to clear my head. So I don't know, I feel a bit meh this morning, and I'm trying to put my finger on it. I don't feel bad. In some ways I feel a lot more positive than I have done for a long while. I think I'm kind of beginning to understand that, how do I put this? Grief at its worst is that memory of familiarity, and the further I get away, this sounds bad, this sounds cruel, but it's almost like the further I get away, the further I go. When Jenny died, that really raw and, gotta be careful here, it's like that raw and really close feeling of familiarity, kind of. Jesus Christ, get out of the water, you will not believe this. They're just running through mud. That's going to be fun. What was I saying? Yeah, that familiarity is becoming less painful I don't know, it's hard to describe. So in some ways I feel a little bit more positive because I'm slowly beginning to understand that perhaps it won't always be this shit. Might be wrong. But yeah, I woke up this morning. It was good to wake up and get back into a routine with the kids being back at school. I think I enjoy getting up. Getting up at 7:30, making them breakfast, making the packed lunch, all that kind of stuff. And getting them out the door because it gives me some kind of routine, gives me some kind of structure. And I think I've missed that over the last few weeks, so that was nice. But equally, I was looking forward to that, and now it's arrived. I'm kind of, oh well, it's here. What's the next thing to look forward to? Which I don't think is a very healthy way of living your life. I may have mentioned it. I read a book, really good book actually, difficult read, but good book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And he's quite profound. I really think that the guy's onto something. I think he's quite an enlightened character. And his argument is that the only thing that you have control over is the here and now. The past is filled with regret. And in my case, some memories which are painful to look back on. And the future is filled with hope and anxiety, and each can be less than useful. Because if you live in that hope that tomorrow's always going to be better, and sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, but even when it is, like when you get there, you've got to then look forward to something else, and you have no control over that. And his argument is the only thing you have control over is the here and now. So perhaps I should stop looking forward and just live in the moment a little bit more, because it's the more sensible thing. I don't really do it justice. Go and read the book. But I think that kind of realisation, right, I'm back into a routine, which is what I've wanted for the last few weeks, and now I'm back into a routine, is right, okay, then well, what do we do next? You can never win, really. But yeah, like I said, the kids are back at school. I can come out on my walks. I've got a little bit of time to myself, which I've not had for the last few weeks, so I suppose that's good. I've also realised that I don't do kindness very well. And what I mean by that is when people are kind to me, particularly around our situation, I find it makes me quite emotional, and I've never really been an emotional person. But I think with Jenny dying, that's kind of reset a baseline somehow, and I find myself getting a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more emotional. So let me give you an example. Like this morning, so the kids are going to Once Upon a Smile. So I managed to get them into Once Upon a Smile, and they start, which is grief counselling for children, and they start on Friday morning. So obviously I need to take them out of school. And I wrote a letter to both the head teachers at Thomas and Isabel's school, the secondary school, and the primary school, before Christmas, saying, right, this is what's happening. And then this morning I thought, well, now they're back at school, I'll just remind them. So anyway, Thomas and Isabel went in normal time. Charlotte's school started later. They started at 10 o'clock, I think, just so they could kind of scrape the paths away, because it is like a death trap, like I said. But so I walked Charlotte in, and when I got to the playground, Miss Sills, the head teacher, was there. And so I thought, right, I'll just mention it to her. So I went over and I said, just to remind you that Charlotte, she won't be in on Friday morning. I'm taking her to Once Upon a Smile. And all she said, completely innocently, was, oh, that's really good. I'm glad you've accessed that. I think it'll do you all a world of good. And that's all it took. I can't believe it. All I could muster was, thank you. And, because I could feel that emotion kind of welling up on me. And I don't know why. Whether it's because for that moment it kind of magnifies that you're in this situation that nobody else is in. Or even worse, it magnifies the fact that the kids are in that situation, which is turbo shit. You know, somewhere where you don't want to be. And I find that quite a bit. I find myself having to remove myself or be really aware of when somebody's going to be turning around and being nice to me, because it just catches me off guard. And I just end up getting emotional, like some kind of fucking soft head. I don't know. Weird. Perhaps I'm broke. But that's how I'm kind of feeling this morning. Bit of a mix. I think it's a bit of a mix between, there's a little bit of positivity creeping in, there's a little bit of, do you know what? It might not always be this shit. But it's always balanced with the shit. I wonder when the scales will properly tip. I don't know, but I'm going to try and live a bit more in the here and now. Yeah. Miss Jenny. That's a street that's set. I was thinking last night. Really kind, much better human being than I am. I don't know why I'm an idiot. Why did I go down that route? I don't know. I do want to talk about Jenny, because I think people want people to know what she was like, but not yet. I like it when people ask me about Jenny. I do. Which is weird, because when you talk to other people who are bereaved, like you're nervous to ask about, you know, the person who's died. I think it's with fear of triggering, but somehow when people, it's like when I talk about it, I get quite emotional, but when people ask me about her, I want to tell them. I'm so proud of her that I want to tell a story. But when I elect to put it out there, I find it quite emotional. Weird, really weird. But yeah, it's quite nice when people go, tell me about Jenny, because I can do that without getting emotional. Yeah, weird how emotions, psychology all kind of play into each other. I find it fascinating. I do find, like, psychology, I've always have done. I think it's because of the job that I do. I think when you do a job where you manage other people and you've got to motivate other people, particularly in my job where, I'm in the forces. I've got to lead people into pretty shit situations sometimes. So you've got to have an interest in that kind of psychology of what makes people tick. Because if you can't figure out the people who you're responsible for their safety, you know what I mean, and the people who you lead, like, I think that's a really dangerous thing for a leader to be, is, you know, unaware of the psychology that stands behind what you're doing. So I've always found it really fascinating. Although I've never studied it, I think I'd love to. But I find the practical side of interacting with people and you know, the part I enjoy most about my job is actually the people. Not the actual job. I think other people find my job more fascinating than I do, because it is sometimes slightly out of the ordinary. And what some people would say is exciting, I would say maybe sometimes 10% exciting, followed by 9% sheer boredom. But the one thing that I really enjoy is that understanding people. And in a way, grief and bereavement is, I mean, this is a deep subject to kind of get to the bottom of, and one day I will understand it, and it will make me a better person for it. And perhaps when I do, and this is where these little journals will help, is that I'd like to help other people going through the same shit. I really would, because if I can just, if I can make it just even fucking 1% shitter, 1% less, not 1% shitter, 1% less crap than I'm finding it, then I'll tell you what, that is worth it. Right, anyway, there you are, a bit of a roller coaster today, but again, I feel a bit better for it. I've had me walk around the field. Dogs are absolutely filthy, brilliant. Fucking filthy, absolutely. I'm gonna have to go and share them. But yeah, I've had my little emotional breakdown mid walk, and I feel better for it. I can't explain how cathartic it is. But it does work. Right, I'm going to get the dogs back. I've got a few more jobs to do, and then I'm off to my old people bereavement group. I love the old guys, they're fucking brilliant. I'm in a very sweary mood today. Apologise. Right. Anyway. Hope you're alright. Speak to you soon. Bye.